Welcome to ASMR Newsroom. Take a deep breath, settle in, and let your mind unwind as we ease into today's headlines. No matter how turbulent the world may seem, we'll navigate it together, softly, steadily, and without urgency. Today's stories carries weight, but I'll guide you through it with care, keeping everything calm and measured. Let's begin with our biggest story from last Friday. One that carried significant weight in the world of diplomacy. President Zelensky and his Ukrainian delegation arrived at the White House, prepared for what was meant to be a formal and constructive press conference. But as the discussions unfolded, tensions surfaced. Senators, including JD Vance, alongside President Trump, took a confrontational stance, pressing Zelensky on prisoner exchanges and Ukraine's vulnerabilities. What began as a diplomatic moment gradually shifted into a more charged exchange. Picture the scene with a steady breath, an international dialogue veering into unexpected territory, the atmosphere shifting, yet the world watching closely. A planned luncheon was quietly canceled, leaving Zelensky and his delegation to depart earlier than expected. Through it all, the complexities of Ukraine's position remain. Navigating between external threats and shifting political landscapes. As we move forward, let's take a moment to acknowledge the weight of these events while remaining centered in the present. Now, as we ease into our next story, let's take a steady breath. Recent developments in the financial world have raised serious ethical concerns. President Trump has introduced a U.S. crypto reserve, described as a step forward for the industry. But behind the scenes, reports suggest that well-connected investors may have had an unfair advantage. Just hours before the announcement, over $200 million in Ethereum and Bitcoin was traded in a way that suggests insider knowledge. While investigations are ongoing, questions remain about whether certain cryptocurrencies were chosen to benefit those already invested, adding to concerns about financial fairness and transparency. Let's take a moment here. The intersection of wealth and power can be frustrating to witness, but awareness is the first step toward accountability. We move forward with clarity, not with stress. Now, shifting to another unfolding story, one taking place in town halls across the country. In these meetings, citizens of all backgrounds are gathering, calmly but firmly pressing their representatives for answers. At the heart of these discussions are deep concerns about recent government funding cuts, especially those impacting aid programs. Their questions are serious, their voices steady but unwavering. There's no shouting, just a collective demand for accountability, a reminder that leadership is a responsibility, not a privilege. No matter how uncertain the times may feel, these conversations show that people are engaged, aware, and determined to shape the future. In another distressing development, the situation in Gaza continues to intensify, with new restrictions cutting off essential supplies to the region. Israeli officials have defended these measures as a way to pressure Hamas into accepting a ceasefire, but humanitarian groups warn that the impact is severe. The U.S., has expedited emergency arms sales to Israel, bypassing Congress and raising urgent concerns about the deepening crisis. Reports from the ground paint a dire picture. Families struggling to find food, medical supplies running low, and entire communities facing uncertainty. It's a moment that weighs heavily, yet through it the world continues to watch, and voices calling for peace remain steady. Even in challenging times, the hope for diplomacy and humanity persists. Now, shifting to a major development at home, changes within the Social Security Administration have sparked widespread concern. Elon Musk, known for his aggressive approach to restructuring industries, has been linked to significant job cuts within the agency, with reports indicating that thousands of positions have been slashed. For many Americans, Social Security has long been a source of stability, and uncertainty around its future raises difficult questions. Citizens are speaking out, urging policymakers to protect the programs that millions rely on. Their voices, though calm and measured, carry the weight of deep concern. Reminders that economic security is not just about numbers, but about lives and livelihoods. And as you let your thoughts drift, we shift to a moment that, while lighter in tone, still holds significance in the world of media and influence. On a recent episode of Joe Rogan's podcast, a space where billionaires and influencers often converge, the conversation took an unusual turn. Elon Musk, known for his unpredictable presence, made an appearance, and what unfolded left Rogan stifling laughter at Musk's eccentricities. While moments like these may seem amusing on the surface, they also highlight a pattern, a tendency among some media figures to offer unquestioning admiration to those in power, even when scrutiny is warranted. Beneath the humor, there remains a quiet call for accountability, a reminder that charm and influence should never replace critical thought. Now, turning to another moment in the intersection of comedy and political discourse, Bill Burr, known for his sharp wit and unfiltered takes, has once again used humor to dissect the forces shaping our world. In a recent exchange, Burr took aim at right-wing commentators like Ben Shapiro, challenging the ways corporate interests and political messaging intertwine. His approach, direct yet laced with irony, reminds us that comedy has long been a tool for exposing uncomfortable truths. With each sharp observation, there is an underlying rhythm, a steady pulse of insight wrapped in humor, urging audiences to stay critical, stay aware, and never lose sight of the bigger picture. And now, as our journey through the news comes to a close, we turn to a quieter but deeply significant development, one unfolding behind closed doors. In a private retreat held in Virginia, a group of Democratic insiders gathered to discuss the party's future. Their proposals, meant to refine messaging and strategy, have sparked debate among those who fear a shift away from the party's core principles. Discussions ranged from an emphasis on patriotism and community to changes in how candidates are vetted, raising questions about whether these shifts reflect an evolution or a departure from the values that define the party's base. As the conversations continue, so too does the broader reflection on what it truly means to serve the people and resist the influence of corporate power. Now, take a slow, deep breath. Let the weight of the day's events settle. Not as a burden, but as a quiet awareness. Even as the world moves through moments of uncertainty, we remind ourselves that truth and justice have a way of rising, steady and unwavering. May this gentle moment bring you a sense of clarity and calm, knowing that awareness itself is a form of resilience. As you ease into rest, let the rhythm of these words soothe you, like a steady current carrying you toward peace. And with that, we close for the night. Softly, steadily, and with hope, stay aware and stay relaxed. Good night.